Hello, this is the Böker Club Gentleman from Solingen in Germany. It's worth pointing out that there's a few different Böker brands. This is the top of their brands, I think, the Böker Solingen. They do a Böker Plus that's made, I think, made in China. But this is made in Germany, handmade in Germany, they claim on their website, and this is a really nice little slip joint folding knife, pocket knife, gentleman's knife, very traditional style, quite old-fashioned, and I don't claim to be an expert in these matters, but I do have it in my hands, and it might be nice for me to show you it. If you fancy having a look at it with me, then watch this video and maybe you'll enjoy it. If you do, I would appreciate it if you subscribed. The subscription bit of YouTube is really important. You probably know that. Anyway, let me tell you about this knife. It's the Club Gentleman, and it has desert ironwood scales. So desert ironwood is a hard wood from California. It's very, very hard, hence I think the name iron. And the scales are quite thin on this knife. You can see there a little bit of a shape to it, but there's not a lot of wood to them, but the grain is really nice, isn't it? Nice brown, dark brown swirls going on in there. At either end of the knife are some nickel silver bolsters with a milled groove. You can see the milled groove there. So these bolsters, when they first arrived, when the knife first arrived, they're quite shiny silver, and they've patinaed to this more bronze look. Now originally I was a little concerned because it's got brass liners. The knife has brass liners. I love brass liners. If a knife has brass liners, I'm getting it. And I was just worried that the nickel silver bolsters might clash a little bit shiny silver with brass might be a bit odd, but those nickel silver bolsters are patinaing and darkening nicely and matching nice in a nice way with the brass liners. But they're still shiny. You can still, hello, there I am. You can still see the shine in the bolsters. Now, interestingly, you can see the pin in the bolster there. So the pin is probably maybe a slightly different material. It's only on that side. On this end, yeah, you can see that you can just make out the pin in the bolster. Interesting little detail. The knife is pinned together with what I assume is also nickel silver pins. I assume that because they're patinaing in the same way as the bolsters. Yeah. It doesn't say on the website or on any of the leaflets or the description about it, so I can only assume it's nickel silver pins. There's also the logo, the Bker Tree logo, which is not 100% flush, ever so slightly raised, and you can feel it with your finger. It's nice. It's a nice little logo, isn't it? It's their new version of their tree logo. They've had previous incarnations. This is the latest one. It's attractive, isn't it? The blade itself has a hidden tang. I think that's what it's called. That's really important for me. I don't like a tang that protrudes and has a sharp corner to it. I really like that smoothness to it. I like my knives to feel in the pocket like a pebble, so smooth and no sharp edges. So this meets those criteria perfectly. There's nothing there to catch the finger. The blade does protrude out though, upwards, but it's still smooth. nice big swedge there to aid that smoothness, and the tip is tucked away nicely. Everything is perfectly made, there's no gaps, it's all flush. They do a good job at the Solingen factory. Should we open the blade? Now, to open the blade, you can't grab it, possibly because of that big swedge, but it's got a long pull with fine teeth, which you could use for striking matches. I haven't tried that. I might try that one day. It's got a half stop. Let's read the markings. It says Bker Solingen N690, so that's the steel. So it's a stainless steel. I think that's stainless. Little tree logo, and the finish on the blade is sort of satin. It's not polished. It's not highly polished. And that long pull, very good, very cool, isn't it? Long pull nail nick. On the reverse side, there's nothing. Just plain. We'll continue to open the blade completely. And that's it open, fully open. It's got a nice profile to it, slightly swooping from one end to the other, sort of a drop point blade. It's not a big knife. I'm going to measure it for you now. The blade itself, the cutting edge of the blade is just sort of 6.4 centimeters, and the blade length in total is 7.2 centimeters. The entire knife from tip to butt, I'm calling it 16.5 centimeters, and thickness, well, it bulges. Can you see the handle bulges slightly? I'm going to measure it at that bulge. It's just under 1 centimeter, and the height is just under 2 centimeters. I apologise for my dog barking in the background. He's a little barker, basically. He's a little Roddy Barker. So that's the measurements, and I'm going to show you it just opening and closing a few times. It's quite stiff, but it's got a lovely snap to it. Very satisfying. Now, when it arrived, it was a very gritty open, and I looked it up. I thought maybe there was literally grit in it. I was reliably informed that it's the polishing compound that gets left behind, that gets in there, that gets into there. I don't think there's any bearings or bushings or washers, so it's just the blade against the liners, and the polishing compound is a bit gritty and makes for that gritty feel. A quick rinse under the hot tap, and then a dry with a paper towel, and then it's lovely. However, carrying it in the pocket does mean expose it to fluff and bits, and it gets gritty quite quickly. And I find that if I need to give it a rinse, if I I don't open it to the half stop. I open it between the half stop and the open, so you get the spring. Can you see the spring is exposed there? Then you can get in to that gap there. I'm just going to focus. You can get into there and blow out bits of grit and fluff. Give that a rinse out, and then you're good. Then you're good and smooth again. To prevent, I was a little apprehensive about the nice bolsters getting scratched up, so I made it a sheath. To be honest, it's just a soft sheath like that, and it's nice. It's good. It keeps it nice and safe. But to be honest, it's not the sort of knife that really is going to suffer much damage. It's very sturdy. The bolsters are going to scuff up anyway. The wood is very strong A bit of scratching here and there, scuffing might give it a bit of character, might be nice. But the main reason I give it a little home in my pocket within a little sheath like that is just to keep the grit fluff, the pocket grit fluff out of the mechanism, because that gets on my nerves when it gets gritty and doesn't open and close smoothly. So that's it, folks. That's the Böker Club Gentleman. Highly recommended from me. It's really, really nice. I really, really like it. It's very elegant, very effective. Just a lovely thing. Just a really lovely thing. And just old-fashioned, traditional, satisfying. All the good things. All the good stuff. Thanks very much for watching. As I said at the beginning, a subscription would be really appreciated. If you have any comments, I'd love to chat to you about this knife. Just leave the comments below. Otherwise, have a look around my channel. I do reviews of watches and knives and EDC. There may be something there that catches your eye. Have a look around, see what you think. Thanks, folks. See you soon.